When I plan my attack, when I plan my attack, I doubt that you're ready. Rhymes like bullets penetrate your zone. One time on the MIC. When I plan my attack, I doubt that you're ready. Rhymes like bullets penetrate your zone. On the MIC.
Yeah. White on the track again, PPL is back again, coming for the Patty's twins, cause she the champion. It's the Pantheon Cup we all battle for. When rivals get to scrapping, it's a savage war. This is what we waited for. Finally, y'all, the time is here. Fantasy is back, my favorite fucking time of year. Light your bloods a tie now. PPL is live now, the show where shit gets real, dog. We're all after the pie now. Geno in the jet, he hosts the show, uploading videos. He does it all from A to Z. You like the league to pay the fee or win it all and play for free. Play to be the best or lazy. It's a league of competition, still the crown, that's the mission. Dog, it's time to get it cracking, plan your moves and start attacking. PPL is back in action, teams get mad, you know what happens. Hate each other, play with passion, build a team with trades and drafting. I think I done said my part, it's time for PPL to start.
When I plan my attack, I doubt that you're ready. Rhymes like bullets penetrate your zone.
And here we are, week 13, PPL Live. We are in the home stretch of the regular season. The PPL playoffs are almost here. Two teams have clinched playoff spots in the PPL playoffs. Geno, the gent here, getting you guys ready for another edition of PPL Live. I got my man Ulysses S. Hate here on the line. What's up, Ulysses?
Feeling good.
All right, we ready to get into it. But before we get into week 13, you know the rule. Let's jump back into week 12. Starting with the Argonauts sweeping the Alpha Conference, beating squad underestimated 133.3 to 132.9. The Mean Machine, play spoiler again, defeats the United Players of Destroyers, bursts the playoff seed wide open, 85 to 82. The Gaff Attack stays alive, crucial victory in the Omega Conference, beats the Skulls 141 to 98. Only for the Boss leaves no doubt, shows their early season scoring potential, 167 to the BGT 79. And Patty's Twins wins the Omega Conference title. The PPL champions will have a first round bye in the 2021 PPL playoffs. Alrighty, we're not going to do final standing projections presented by PPL Live. It's all about the playoffs now, baby. We're going to look at our playoff projections and playoff brackets coming up for the season. At number 1 seed, the Argonauts have clinched the number 1 seed throughout the PPL playoffs. Will have a bye in the first round in week 15. Patty's Twins, the new Omega Conference champions, have also clinched a first round bye at the number 2 seed. They will also have the week off in week 15. Now, going at number 3 at the moment is the United Players of Destroyers in a matchup with number 6, the Gaff. And then in the other playoff bracket, currently at number 4, Appease the Gods, going against currently at number 5, Squad Underestimated. And obviously number 7 and number 8 on the outside looking in on the PPL playoff bubble, we have the Skulls and Only for the Boss. Alrighty, Ulysses. All right, man. So looking at these rankings, we're looking at the playoff percentages. Underestimated has a 70% chance at the playoffs, with Only for the Boss at 48%, and then 95% for the Destroyers, 74% for ATG, 82 for the Gaff, and 31 for the Skulls, who at one time was almost at near 100. Man, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely one of the most exciting playoff brackets we have projected. I mean, with really, any of the teams in the first round, really up in the air. I mean, any of the 3 through 6 seeds could be bounced. As I look at the 7 and 8, I genuinely think that Only for the Boss, has really started to hit their stride,
right,
as Kansas City's kind of gelled. I think that they have a great opportunity in the next few weeks, both, playing against the Squad Underestimated, and then in the last week of the season, they have the Twins.
Yeah.
So,
who they beat earlier this year.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that you know, there's a lot of opportunity for movement here, and I mean, these last 2 weeks are going to be very telling as far as, you know, where we're going to see. So I'm excited to see what that looks like.
All right, man. Let's talk about it. Let's get into the good, the bad, and the ugly. We already know how it works. Give me your good, bad, and ugly from Thanksgiving. By the way, how was your Thanksgiving, Ulysses?
And, you know, lovely, all good. Friends, and I hope everybody out in the PPL was able to do the same.
No, definitely. So give me your good from the turkey tussles this weekend.
I mean, you hit on it. I mean, it has to be Patty's Twins. I mean, as competitive as the Omega Conference has been this year, to have clinched the conference title and the first round bye,
right,
with two rounds to go, really allows this team to really again decide what they need to do for playoff seeding. Because really, you know, win or lose these next 2 weeks doesn't affect their seeding whatsoever.
Right.
So they could, they could do a lot. I mean, I think we're going to see some guys get back into the lineup, but I think you know, this team really impressed last week. Aaron Rodgers has stayed firm. Matthew Stafford has also played well. So
right.
He really has good options everywhere. And I've just been really impressed with, especially this deep into the season, the production she's getting out of her running backs.
Right.
I mean, Eckler, Taylor, Gibson, all clearing double digits. All I believe they all got to the house. So I mean, you know, just really solidly scoring. It was a good week for the Twins. As I go to bad for me is the Skulls.
Okay.
I mean, this team has lost 4 in a row now.
Yeah.
We're 5-3 at one point, and they really opened the door for the Gaff. You know, the Gaff, if they lost, I think they were dead to rights.
Okay.
Know, really looking on the outside in at that 5-7. You know, even with the cake matchup at that last game of the week. But, you know, like, that head coach loss, I mean, it really didn't matter all that much. I mean, this team just really, outside of Allen, Henderson, and Cordell Patterson, like, they just didn't get points.
Right.
I think, you know, they are really feeling the effects of injuries and just not really having consistent running back play. As far as ugly, I mean, it's got to be a piece of the gods. I mean, they have now lost, you know, 3 in a row. They really just needed to win any one of these last 4 or 5 games to secure a playoff spot. I mean, now looking at them, you know, I think that they still are in control of their own destiny. But really, the way that they've kind of stumbled the last few weeks, I don't think has anybody, especially anybody in this playoff picture, really worried about either a first or second round matchup against a piece of the gods at this point.
Right.
They've just shown themselves to be inconsistent scorers. And so I just think it was ugly, especially, I mean, again, giving away an opportunity to not only solidify a playoff spot, but again, losing the conference title with 2 weeks to go. It's not a good look for a piece of the gods. It's not really a good look for Omega down the stretch.
Right. No, agreed. My good man, I'm gonna have to go with the Argonauts. And the reason for that is because they actually swept the Alpha Conference for, I believe, the 3rd time in league history, which is a ridiculous feat to sweep your conference. No losses in the Alpha Conference. Puts them on the Imperial throne, obviously, and another banner season from the Argonauts. And they found a way to get it done week after week. And they have the number 1 seed. No matchup matters for them until week 16, a crucial week 16. But another Final Four appearance for the Argonauts. And obviously, I'm going to give the Twins an honorable mention for also another great campaign. Both of those teams clinching Final Four spots. Again, obviously, they lead the way with probably the most Final Four spots clinched, with probably the Gaff maybe in 3rd. My bad is the United Players of Destroyers. You can't let that game go against the Mean Machine by 3 points. You got to figure out a way to get 3 more points and get that win. I mean, Tom has not been his usual self. He hasn't been efficient, and they really leaned on their running game, and that really slowed down the United Players of Destroyers. They were looking like the team that could easily clinch the playoff spot, especially with the way the schedule was looking. Can't let that one get away. So that's my bad. My ugly is also appease the gods. This was a team that I thought was about to run away with the Omega Conference at one point. They have a few early season losses on their record that are now holding them back, because if they don't bench that coach against Patty's Twins, they're already in the playoffs here. It's just, or excuse me, bench Lamar, I'm sorry, in that matchup earlier in the season. That really slowed them down from a standings perspective. And things are going to get ugly if they lose this week to a Skulls team that is capable of winning despite the 4-game losing streak. So somebody's ugly is going to get uglier between Appease the Gods and the Skull, or bad or to ugly for the Skulls and ugly for ATG. They just got to figure out a way to get it done. So with that being said, let's get into our Week 13 matchups. We're going to start in the Alpha Conference for a matchup with not major importance, but hey, it matters to the two teams, or does it? As we have the Baby Gas team taking on the Mean Machine. All right, man, 2, 3, and 9 teams. I guess this is the toilet bowl, the matchup for basically the number 1 pick in the draft. What do you think of this one? Mean Machine bringing in Justin Herbert against Russell Wilson and the Baby Gas team.
Yeah, I mean, it is that. This is the only game this weekend that doesn't have any kind of playoff implication.
Right.
These are the only 2 teams that are officially out of contention.
Mm-hmm.
And as I look at it, I honestly think that the Baby Gas team has the edge here.
Okay.
I mean, Russell Wilson has not played well, neither has Seattle in general. But I think that a conference matchup, they may be able to get things going.
Mm-hmm.
I look at the other side. It's just key players and positions. The running back, wide receiver, just not healthy. I mean, I wouldn't trust Odell in the Rams lineup just yet.
Mm-hmm.
If James Robinson is healthy, I think he could have a field day against the Rams. They're not good against the run.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's healthy.
Yeah.
And as I look down the lineup, both of these teams are just decimated by injury. You're talking second, third tier options.
Right.
Without that Titans defense playing this week.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily feel too confident about the Chargers going on the road to Cincinnati. That's going to be a challenging game.
Okay.
Whereas on the other side, the Vikings should handle Detroit.
Yeah.
The Colts should handle Houston.
Yeah.
I just think it's kind of those intangibles that really just gives the Baby Gas team the edge to me. I don't think that this is a romper in any way.
Yeah.
But I've got the BGT going 99 to Mean Machines 88.
Okay, I'm gonna go the other way. Mean Machine's gonna set their lineup at some point this week. BGT, that's a coin flip there. I get what you're saying about Justin Herbert, but I think he's in for a rebound game against Cincinnati in Cincinnati, and I think there's gonna be a battle of young guns up there in Cincinnati. With Odell, he did have a long touchdown last week. They are integrating him into the offense. It's not a terrible play. And Hunter Renfrow is really turning into the best receiver on that Raiders offense and the most reliable receiver. Elijah Moore is emerging as a young rookie. And I like Sanders and Robinson as much, if not better, than Jacobs and Stevenson. No DJ Moore is going to be huge for the BGT. He's actually one of their best receivers. And that's why I got the Machine. I got Mean Machine getting this one 114 to the BGT's 102. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a matchup of PPL lore. 2 teams who have been to the top of the PPL, one a little more than the other, but hey, the other one's tried, swung hard at it. We got the Gaff Attack going up against the Argonauts. All right, man, this is obviously a great matchup. This is a rematch of Pantheon Cup 2, and they've also squared off in playoff matchups before. The Gaff comes in with a crucial win over the Skulls. They're in position, it looks like, to grab one of those playoff spots, but in their way do stand the number 1 record in the league. But hey, the Argonauts are limping into this matchup. No Devontae Adams, no Nick Chubb, and also Dalvin Cook with a huge injury that benefits the Gaff as he picked up Madison. What do you think of this one, Argonauts Gaff?
Yeah, I mean, Gaff has all the right pieces. I mean, I just think that when you look at it, Gaff has relied on some intangibles that you just really can't consider. I mean, had a big marquee win last week. I don't want to take anything away from that.
Right.
But I mean, Leonard Fournette had 41 points, and they won by just over 40 points.
Right.
I mean, you factor in that they had a 20-point coach win, the other side loses. I mean, again, it looked more comfortable than it really was in a rounded way. I
True.
mean, anytime you've kind of got that hero out there, you need that guy to be it. And I mean, Fournette's just not going to be that guy week in, week out.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts, I mean, again, I think,
You're not a fan.
Well, and the Jets are terrible. I mean, which may take him out of the game a little bit as they're just trying to get a win, right?
Okay.
They may go ground heavy and just get out of there. Love Madison, but again, DeAndre Hopkins has an injury consideration. So does Claypool. CeeDee Lamb's out as of right now.
Right.
So Arizona Cardinals feet, I think, is a great pick. I think Bills, I mean, they're playing New England.
He's wrote that all year, man.
I mean, hey, and it's paid. It's been paid. You look at the other side. I mean, the Argos, even with the limitations, even with the bye, even with injury considerations, they're just so deep that
Right.
I don't really see it bothering them. I mean, Dallas and New Orleans, like, that game could get high scoring.
Okay.
Najee Harris has been really good. T. Higgins should do fine. Tyreek Hill is who we thought he was. And I think, like, right now, as far as what we're seeing, I mean, the big question mark is about Kittle.
Okay.
He hasn't been as involved. If he can get that X factor. But he's going to pick up the kicker. I think the Rams are good. I like the Bucks. I mean, this game is going to be absolutely competitive, but I just think that the Argo, as they have all year, is going to outpace the Gaff. I think this one's going to be absolutely close, but I've got the Argo holding on and going for their 12th victory. I've got them going 131 to the Gaff's 127.
Good one, man. I guess I'm inclined to agree with you here, and it's probably more based on the fact that they got the hero's effort last week from Leonard Fournette. D-Hop comes back into the lineup. Now, he has had a few weeks to rest. Kyler's had a few weeks to rest. And it could be a good week, but you're going on the road to Chicago in December. I know it's early December, but it's starting to get cold out there. You're a dome team. That one could be a tougher matchup for D-Hop trying to get reintegrated into that offense. I actually love the CeeDee Lamb play for the Gaff. I think that's going to help him check the Argonauts because Dak loves CeeDee Lamb, especially on that deep ball. The Argonauts have been able to take advantage of that all year, but the Gaff has been getting those points also. So that's going to be something to monitor all matchup. The Hurts to Goddard connection is going to be what is going to either take the Gaff over the top or be their doom here. I like Arizona against Chicago. But I think Chicago can actually challenge them because of the scrambling ability of the quarterback position. And Arizona's defensive line is not as good as it was earlier in the season. I love Justin Tucker every week. And I think the Buffalo coach will be fired against New England. I think New England is going to probably get a reality check on Monday night. On the Argonaut side, I'm with you, man. I don't think it bothers them too much. T. Higgins, I mean, did you see how he mossed old boy from Pittsburgh?
I did.
Yeah, it was disgusting. I mean, that was a diamond in the rough. I think that was the Argonauts' second first-round pick, and he's paid dividends the weeks they've needed him. They haven't needed him much, but hey, he's in the lineup this week. As for the rest of the Rogues Gallery, it's going to be interesting to see how Kittle emerges, but there's no Deebo Samuel this week, and that typically shifts the offense back to being Kittle-centric, so that could work out for the Argo. Where it's going to be interesting is the flex position. The Argo could go Cole Beasley just to check the Gaff's coach on Monday night, or they could hang with Devontae Freeman. I'm hearing they like Devontae Freeman a lot, so that's going to be interesting to see. I say the Argonauts win this matchup also, 134 to the Gaff's 126. And moving on to our next matchup, we go into a crucial matchup for both teams. Both of these teams we thought earlier in the season would be playing for an Omega Conference title. Instead, they're playing for the wild card. We got the Skulls taking on Appease the Gods. All right, man, I spelled it out pretty much right there, man. The Skulls were the PPL Live darlings of the season. Appease the Gods really got on the map by shattering the Skulls in that epic Lamar Jackson comeback. But it seems like neither of these teams can recapture that early season flair they had, man. What do you think of this matchup? ATG going up against the Skulls.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty remarkable that both of these teams are actually still in playoff contention. I think that combined, they've come into this matchup like somebody's got to win.
Right.
They both have lost 7 games between them coming in. I'll say, like, you know, especially when I look at the Skulls, their lineup is much better than their record indicates.
Okay.
I mean, this team just hasn't been able to put the pieces together, and they're frankly dealing with some stuff that's upstream that you just really can't factor in.
Right.
I mean, what I'm really talking about there is the issues with Seattle and Russ and that offense.
They got to get DK out of there, man.
I mean,
yeah.
DK, he's still got DK in the lineup. ATG has Tyler Lockett on the bench. It's just been inconsistent there. You know, same with even in Las Vegas. I mean, anytime you have an in-season coach change, that just throws off
the whole
what's
rhythm
happening. I don't like the Texans against Indy. I think that they've shown capable to run, to pass, to score,
to do whatever they want.
Texans don't have an offense, and that frankly hurts their defense.
Right.
This unit's just out on the field
Too
so
much.
And they're playing a conference opponent. Cowboys coach, I mean, again, Cowboys lost a game that they probably should have won last week, but they've had a lot of time to think about it.
That's rolling the dice, though, man.
But still, I mean, not even you would expect, you know, playing that Thanksgiving game, you know, you've got family stuff. It's been
distractions.
A week, but it's probably been a short week for these guys. I'm guessing coach probably let them go and hang out with their families a day or two. So I'm not exactly sure how well the Cowboys will be ready for this game. So we'll see that tomorrow night. Other side, I mean, I don't know what happened to Lamar last week. I mean, he was just giving the football away. As I look at Mixon, Montgomery, I think that those guys should have strong weeks.
Right.
The wide receiver core has been all over for ATG, but Myles Gaskin, you know, I think he's shown that he might be a guy that could be potentially useful for this team down the stretch, and wouldn't be surprised if he's not in the keeper conversation if the dynamic out in Miami stays the same.
Right.
You know, again, Eagles D against the hapless Jets, and then Cardinals coach against Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean,
those should be locks, man.
He knows the Chicago Bears, so I mean, if he's picking Cardinals, I mean, we'll see.
It's pretty safe, you would say.
That's where it goes. But I think it's pretty safe to say that if the Cowboys lose on Thursday night, then the Cardinals coach won't factor in on this. He has not done well the last 4 or 5 weeks getting a consistent coach in. That being the case, though, like they're studs on this that, you know, were guys that he either drafted or kept. Like, this is largely the team that he wanted at this point in the season. And so I think that really Appease the Gods has no excuses if they are to say that they are a playoff team. Just missed it last year, and the expanded format would have made the playoffs last year.
Right.
Again, they have the right players, and I know you said it that New England might be in for a surprise, but I've seen Bill Belichick dismantle good offenses before. This offense has been stifled this season, and I know that Belichick is going to have a game plan for these guys, especially on Monday night. So I think, again, with both quarterbacks playing divisional rivals, I just see the potential for fireworks coming out of the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game to be of higher potential than Buffalo-New England. That game could be like 9-6.
True.
Where I can see this Baltimore Pitt thing going off.
Right.
So I'm going to say that Appease the Gods actually gets this one, not comfortably, but really gets a win and puts themselves in position. And with the loss, I mean, the Skulls, I think, are really teetering on the brink, and really just
they need it.
Their destiny will be in other teams' hands depending on what else happens. But I've got Appease the Gods winning this one, 125 to the Skulls, 112.
Okay. This was a tough one, but I think I'm gonna go with the Skulls. I'm gonna just go down with the PPL live ship here, man. I think that Josh Allen, he actually had a field day on that New England defense in both matchups last year. I think that he's gonna be able to overcome the Bill Belichick's schemes Monday night, and he's gonna have a good game. I like Henderson against Jacksonville. Cordell Patterson is a beast. I mean, and I don't like the matchup, but I do like the player. I think that the Skulls have probably got to take a look at getting James Conner back out there and getting DK out. Like you said, he has not been good for them. And I think they have a real good chance of stealing this. Now, that Dallas coach may be something they want to look at. Now, on ATG side, I'm starting to wonder. Lamar's had back-to-back matchups. Now, remember, Miami struggled big time on that Thursday night game. Had to sit out because he got sick. And then he came back and he looked sick playing the Cleveland Browns, man. I'm hoping that it's not something that's lingering. Maybe it's something that maybe it's an injury. I don't know what it is, but it just doesn't seem like Lamar is himself right now. Joe Mixon has been the MVP of this team throughout the whole year. He's really carried ATG to where they are right now. He's kept them in matchups, even matchups that they've lost. He's been very admirable in defeat. David Montgomery, I'm a little disappointed in his play because he's a guy that I thought when he came back into the lineup that he was going to help ATG go to that next level that we saw ATG get to going to the end of last season. He really helped the scoring potential of the team go up, and he looked like he was on that trajectory earlier in the season before the injury. So it was kind of disappointing to see Montgomery lay the eggs that he's laid. Mike Evans, we know that's a dice roll. Brandon Cooks and Tyler Lockett are interchangeable. I would almost go with Tyler Lockett just because he's more reliable with Russ. Brandon Cooks, I mean, Tyrod Taylor, they're cool, but I don't know about that there. I do like the Myles Gaskins play, and I love the Mark Andrews play. Obviously, Mark Andrews has been a top tight end, and even if Lamar doesn't play well, Mark Andrews can still have a decent day. Philly and Arizona are great plays, and I think that could be the difference, but I think that the Cowboys can get that win against the Saints, and that helps the Skulls sneak by, appease the gods, 132 to HEG's 129. And moving on to our next matchup, we stay in Omega for a huge one for the United players after they wet the bed against the Mean Machine as they take on the Omega Conference champions and defending Pantheon Cup 12 champions, Patty's Twins. All right, man, so we pretty much spelled that one out. Twins and UP. This matchup has always been a high-scoring affair. Twins, they're basically making preparations for Week 16. The UP, however, currently the 3 seed, but hey, things aren't going to stay that way for long, being that all these teams are tied. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, I've got the UP losing this matchup. I mean, not just because as of right now, they've only got six healthy starters with injuries and bye consideration.
Yeah.
Even when they clean this thing up, I don't necessarily like the Bucks D against Atlanta, if that's where they go. And I surely don't like the Chiefs coach against Denver. I mean, that could go either way.
Okay.
This team was just on fire with scoring early on in the season.
Right.
And they just really haven't been able to keep that pace. And I mean, a lot of that I think has been the struggles of Tampa Bay as of late. And I think, again, if Atlanta being a divisional game, they're in Atlanta, you better believe that Atlanta team is going to be fired up to face Tom Brady,
right?
Guy that took a Super Bowl from him, in the last 5 years. Look at the other side, though, man. There's just too much scoring potential on the Twins right now. I mean, they to me are one of the scariest teams. Just when you look at, they just have studs
everywhere.
The most questionable guy here, I think, is Stafford at this point. But
wow, and that's saying a lot.
Exactly, man. Eckler's a stud. Jonathan Taylor continued to make everybody look like a fool for last year's PPL draft.
Right.
Keenan Allen, again, out there. Michael Pittman, great pickup. Antonio Gibson coming big on Monday night. I love the Colts D against Houston. There's just, she's going with Robbie Gould, who's just been tried and true. I just like what they have in their lineup right now. And, the UP can kind of be a little haphazard, a little gun shy.
Right.
I don't expect to see changes in their lineup till Sunday morning. And by then, the options may be a little thin as far as some of these key positions that they need to address.
Okay.
I've got the Twins, they don't care. We'll say that. They don't care that this matchup doesn't mean nothing. They're going to go out there and try to smash her. And frankly, I think they do.
Okay.
I've got the Twins in a leave no doubt performance, 144 to the United players, 112.
Man, that Omega Conference title has got you believing, Ulysses. I ain't heard you give the Twins that kind of praise in a while, but I'm inclined to agree with you, man. I actually like the Matthew Stafford play. This is the perfect bounce-back game. He's had a few bad weeks. He's throwing pick sixes. Everybody's clowning him in the media. I think this is a game Matthew Stafford puts the Rams back into consideration, and they have a banner performance against a bad Jacksonville team. Austin Eckler on the road at Cincinnati. I expect that Herbert to have a good game, and that means Austin Eckler's going to probably be catching a lot of passes out of the backfield and doing his thing. Jonathan Taylor, I mean, yeah, I think that every team in the PPL is slapping themselves for that move. I mean, even the Twins passed on him on that first go-around on the wraparound. So it's crazy that Jonathan has become what he's become. But, I mean, he's gone to a perennial powerhouse in the PPL, and he's helped them stay at the top of the league. He's already become PPL championship MVP last year in Pantheon Cup 12, and he may be on his way to a second consecutive one. Keenan Allen, I mean, what else is there to say? He's Mr. Consistency, and then Antonio Gibson in the flex is almost unfair. On the United player side, I think Tom has a great week against Atlanta, but I'm worried about that RB1 spot. Cooper Kupp is going to continue to do what he does, but Mike Williams is kind of up and down in that offense. Now, if he does have a huge game, that could swing this matchup because the Twins have so much dependence on the Chargers. But I don't see it happening, man. I'm with you. I got Patty's Twins getting this win, 134 to the United players, 118. And moving on to our prestige matchup of the week. We finally go back into Alpha for a prestige matchup without the Argonauts involved, as we have the PPL Championship finalists of last year, only for the Boss, taking on Mr. Team of No Excuses, like you say, Ulysses, squad underestimated. All right, man, this is a big one in the Alpha Conference, only for the Boss. They're clinging to their playoff lives. This is probably their biggest matchup of the season. On squad underestimated side, they win this one, and they can pretty much put themselves into the PPL playoffs, man. What do you think of this one? Crucial matchup only for the Boss in the squad. Only for the Boss squad underestimated.
Yeah, I mean, this is another matchup that I think, is kind of hard to tell right now. I mean, just because I don't think lineups are fully set, I fully anticipate that only for the Boss is going to get the Chiefs guys back in.
Okay.
And with that move, I've got only for the Boss. I
Okay.
mean, really what this comes down to for me is key injuries to the squad. And, this is a story we've heard before with the squad. They, call it what you will, they are just unlucky. I mean, losing the way that they did last week. I mean, they win that game last week.
They're in.
Which they're in. I mean, this is playing for seeding at that point. But, I think only for the Boss, especially with what they did last week with the lineup that they did. I mean, that's what they've expected to get out of these guys.
All year.
I expect that Denver game is going to be highly competitive. Travis Kelce and Mahomes will factor. I think that, when I look at what Stephon could potentially do, Debo,
Monday night,
as I said, was out. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see a Michael Gallup in that position.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if he's going to go to free agency, but where I think that, and this is just my opinion, I think that both the D and coach picks are actually good. I like the Dolphins against the Giants, and I like the Patriots. I mean, again, I've said it already. I mean, I think that you mentioned it. That Allen has succeeded last season against New England. I'll just say Bill Belichick isn't the guy that's going to get got repeatedly. So I think that they're putting together a playbook and they're going to make that competitive.
Okay.
I mean, not that it's going to be a blowout, but I think that the Patriots actually have a legitimate shot. On the other side, again, Kyler Murray's, not 100%. If there's anything to be fearful of, it is that the Bears might get at him.
Okay.
I mean, and if they get at him, that changes the whole dynamic of that game. Alvin Kamara, Alex Collins, not completely healthy. We've talked about the running back woes for squad, and it got worse this week.
Okay.
Christian McCaffrey came back briefly. He's out for the season now, and that really changes the trajectory and really what I think this team can do. I mean, Chuba Hubbard, who has been a replacement on the bye. He's got Melvin Gordon, who hasn't been the guy in a while. He's not 100%.
Right.
So, I mean, when this is all said and done, I mean, Devontae Booker might get a start. So, or Jamal Williams, I mean, who may not be the worst if Swift is out.
Right.
So, right now, I just think that only for the Boss has a slight edge because of that Chiefs connection,
Okay.
and because I think that they can really make that happen. Again, I think that this one could absolutely be competitive, but as I was saying in my playoff projection, I do have Only for the Boss getting into the playoffs, and
Okay.
I think it has to start this week with a win. And I think they win it by just a razor's edge. I've got them going 129 to the squad's 126.
Close. I agree, man. I think that Only for the Boss is gonna get this one once Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce get back into the lineup. And another guy I think might make an appearance is gonna be a Michael Gallup. I'm not sure why Amari Cooper may not be in this lineup for squad underestimated. That could prove telling. And I think that a lot of things are going to factor to this matchup. Now, Deebo Samuel's injury does slow down Only for the Boss a little bit. He's been huge for them all year long. But they got Justin Jefferson in that trade. And let's talk about Elijah Mitchell, man. This guy has a pin in his finger, and he's breaking. He was out there killing the Minnesota Vikings and helping Only for the Boss run away with a leave no doubt performance. I like Mitchell and Jefferson again in their matchups. Deebo Samuel comes out. I think they get Gallup in there. I think Mahomes and Kelce coming off of the bye week, that gives the Chiefs, remember, they've been winning. That gives them also a little bit of time to reset, take a breath, and I think that the Chiefs come out of the bye week strong, and that helps Only for the Boss win. On the squad underestimated side, Adam Thielen had his big week last week. Kyler Murray, I think his mobility might be a little compromised, and that might be slowing down the scoring potential of this team. He's not as nearly effective as a pocket passer as people might want you to believe. He needs to get out on that edge, and he just hasn't been able to do it lately. And Chicago's not the place where you want to try to reestablish something like that. Alvin Kamara is a good play against Dallas, but it's really going to depend on how Taysom Hill plays, because Taysom Hill does not like dumping off to running backs. He keeps his eyes downfield. Kyle Pitts was a huge disappointment for squad last week, and it may continue because Tampa Bay, I think, is going to give them a tough game. Jalen Waddle has been a huge bright spot for squad. I really like what he brought to their team last week. And Marquise Brown is getting targeted heavily in that offense. I think that keeps them in it, but I don't think it's enough in the end. I say Stephon Diggs closes it out. And I think that game will be a little more high scoring. So I got Only for the Boss getting this one, 139 to squad underestimated 127. Alrighty, PPLers, thanks for another great week of PPL Live. The playoff race is in full effect. It was huge. I know we went a little long this week, but hey, that's how it goes when you got to talk playoff football. You guys have a great weekend. We get started, obviously, with the Cowboys and the Saints. We'll see what the Argonauts can do early on with Zeke and Dak. Then we go to Sunday night with Only for the Boss and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce trying to put down squad. And we close out on Monday night, seeing if the Skulls can stay alive with Josh Allen against ATG. You guys have a great, fun weekend.